and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all in for it.
Welcome to the House of Ghouls podcast. I am your host, Colby. I am joined by my best friend, as always, Ian Van Ghoul. And today we have a very special guest who I've been wanting to talk to for a while. We've actually gotten to hang out in person. I got to review one of his movies. He is also a producer of one of my favorite movies. Welcome, everybody, Michael Leavy.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here talking with you guys, especially during spooky season. That's always, my favorite time to talk movies, and so it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely want to get you on because this week Stream just dropped on VOD.
Yeah, it's really exciting to, follow obviously what we have going on with Terrifier and all of that, and then to, theatrically, and then to follow it up with Stream VOD after a really fun, successful limited release. So a lot of great things happening this week for us, and it's exciting.
Dude, so I was just rewatching the first Terrifier. I think it was last week or the week before, and I had no idea you and your brother were in the movie.
Yeah, it's it's funny. I played, for anybody watching, I played Will the Exterminator in the original Terrifier. Somebody gave me, I don't know if I have it here. Oh yeah, I do. Somebody a long time ago made this for me. The this like little, I don't know what this is, like half bobbleheady thing.
Bobbleheady thing.
But yeah, it was in the first one. It was funny, the first Terrifier, it was made for like $35,000. It was like no budget, and basically like shooting a movie literally with your best friends in your backyard. And I originally had not met Damien at first. I was brought on through Phil Falcone. And as we were, getting to know them and everything, Damien was like, "Hey, we got these roles," or Phil, one of them said, "We got these roles, it's cops at first." And he goes, "Would you like to do it?" So I said, "Yes." He says, "Oh, can you just put something on tape so I can, see it?" So I auditioned with Stephen De La Salle as the cops at the end of the movie. Got the part, and Damien was like, "Yeah, it's great, it's awesome." And then about 2 weeks later, he says, "Hey, I got a cooler role for you. The only thing is, the catch is you're not going to live, and you're going to die, but it's going to be a really cool, gruesome thing." And I said, "Well, if you're in a horror movie and you don't die, you're really in a horror movie." I'm like, "Oh man, I want to do it." So he came up with that Will the Exterminator role because they wanted to add, one more kill to the original Terrifier. And then I said, "Well, my brother Jay's got similar acting chops to me with the screaming and the yelling stuff." I said, if you're, interested, could he play the role?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely, no problem." So Jason got in, our business partner Steve, and myself, really on the ground floor with this thing, and then we did some crew stuff for the original Terrifier, obviously. But I didn't become producer of Terrifier until part two. And that's when I, really myself, Fuzz on the Lens, got really involved with it, was part two, and then obviously part three. But it was an interesting start. And it's funny because we're all from Staten Island. And that was like a cool thing. But like I said, it was like this little thing. We didn't know it was going to become this huge success. We knew that Art was cool. We knew that Art the Clown had a look to him. I remember looking at my brother when I first saw him, and I said, "Wow," I said, "they got a really awesome, iconic looking character here." And I said, "I hope he doesn't screw it up." And he didn't screw it up. And from there, it's just grown and grown and grown, and it's exciting to see what's going on.
Did you guys have any like clue or idea like this is where you'd be right now?
No, like I said, we knew Art looked cool, and then when the first one got some success, obviously through Netflix, I was at a convention. It was 2018. I'm a huge Halloween fan. I was at the 2018 convention in Pasadena, and that's when they had the big reunion. Jamie Lee Curtis is back in the franchise, and we were getting recognized by fans there saying, "Are you in that Terrifier movie?" And I was like, "What?" And I remember calling Damien. There was like little Terrifier pinatas. It was nowhere near where it is today. That was like the start of it. And I think it was because of Netflix. Like people just had Netflix. The cover was cool, and people just wanted to take a look at it. So I remember calling Damien and saying, "Dude, I wish you were out here to see this. Like people are really connecting to the film, and it's super cool to see." And he was like, "Oh, I wish I was there." And then like the weekend after, I think he went to his first convention in like Arizona or something, and there was a line for David, and then we saw it grow and grow and grow. But the whole time was just to make a good movie, to make something we would want to see. And obviously, we obviously have a lot of faith in ourselves. We were hoping a fan base would find it, but as long as we were true to what we wanted, we knew that, there was nothing more that we can do. And then when part two came around, really our only main thing we kept saying was do not let our little fan base, with these cult people who love it, do not let them down. And that was all
Mhm.
we kept thinking about. And then obviously it kind of went into pop culture. It's insane.
It's fucking crazy. And another cool thing was you guys were shooting stream while Damien was editing Terrifier 2.
Yeah.
So like Damien would be editing like in the middle of editing Terrifier 2, and then he'd like come down and start helping you guys with practical effects like the same day and stuff.
Yeah. So it's funny, like we had tried to, so it's funny, like the way this all came together. And I'll give you a quick version of it. So 2015, I'm shooting this film called Abnormal Attraction. And it's a comedy horror film, but more comedy. It's very
Mm.
campy. It stars Malcolm McDowell, Gilbert Gottfried, Tyler Mane, Leslie Easterbrook, Ron Jeremy. It's this fun, kind of balls to the wall, crazy fantasy fairy tale movie about people who have obsessions, abnormal attractions to mythical creatures, and there's like a support group for them. So that on that set, this guy Jason Milstein introduces us to Phil Falcone, and that's how we got involved with Phil. And then obviously we got brought on the first Terrifier movie and acting, crew, things like that. Um, and then from there we do part two, and we get that bigger role of being producers and everything else. I was the assistant director, and then COVID hits, and
Mm.
everything gets shut down. And we had this script stream that we had written right after Abnormal Attraction, probably around 2016, after a film I did called Penance Lane. It was Tyler Mane's movie. And Danny Roebuck is in it, who's in Terrifier 3 and
Yeah.
also in Stream. That's where I first met him. He played my father in the film. And it's a cool little underground, low budget movie, but Scout Taylor Compton's in it. John Schneider's in it. You could find it, I'm sure, for free on one of the channels if you haven't seen it already, on one of the platforms. And we really got close with Danny. And so we wrote this script shortly thereafter called Stream, and we were trying to fund for it. And luckily, right before COVID, we got the funds to do the movie. And the plan was right after Terrifier 2, we're going to go into Stream. And obviously, we had a great relationship, and we're like best friends with Damien and Phil and George, and like that. Our whole unit really, it's still like making movies with your best friends, just on a bigger budget, I guess. More problems though, and
Yeah.
so we end up getting shut down for COVID. It's like, oh my God, like this is insane. So while we're shut down, Damien's we're trying to finish Terrifier 2, but at the same token, we start hiring people for Stream because like the whole industry's down. So we're just talking to different actors and actresses and trying to find locations. And then we ended up getting the green light to go, and Terrifier like just gets their pickups done, and then it's like, oh shit, we're gonna go to Stream now. And Damien was like, I want to do this. I'm in. You guys have always been there for me with Terrifier. I want to be there and be a part of Stream. So literally, he moves into the hotel with us in Gettysburg, this is where we shot, and he is
Mm.
editing Terrifier 2 in his hotel room. Literally, I remember watching one night. We're doing like one of the crazy scenes, I think, with the spear when I don't want to give anything away, but David Howard Thornton has a spear and he drives it into somebody.
Yeah.
And I remember calling Damien out of the room as he's editing like the sequence when Sienna's cutting up all the costume and stuff.
Mhm.
And he's showing me that scene and then coming out and doing the gore and then going back into the room. And it was like, it was so crazy, and that was like a month and a half, 2 months of us shooting Stream and then him editing. So it was really interesting working on both films, simultaneously.
Speaking of the cast, like I said in my review, like you have a shit ton of very well-known horror icons in the cast, and there's not many that can make a good movie with that many icons, put it that
Mm.
way. So how did you go about it to make a good movie and have all of them included and it still be a good movie? Was there anything like in particular that you did, or
Yeah, for
you just
sure.
kind of go with the flow?
So first and foremost, we never set out to make a movie with that many well-known horror people in it. That's first. I think a lot of those movies that you're talking about that fall flat use that as the gimmick. And
Yeah.
like that's all they're focused on is, oh, we're gonna get this one, this one, this one, this one. It's gonna be the expendable of horror. I remember this movie, I won't
Yep.
name it because I should know the filmmaker that ended up doing it. And I was excited for it, and it was like one of the first times something like that was happening, and the thing fell flat. It was horrible. It was like they were in it for 2 seconds, and it was like you were not promised what you were advertised. So like when we first did it, it was never meant to be that. It was just, this was the script. This is what we wanted to do. And, we'll see where it goes. Being horror fans now, obviously, there's certain people you want to work with. And, so I think that's where it starts, is making those people that we got, they fit the characters that were already written. And we didn't make up new characters just to stuff them into this film. Like Mr. Lockwood, there was a Mr. Lockwood, and it was like, oh, it'd be really cool to have a Jeffrey Combs kind of play this role. He'd be perfect for it, And even the roles that, like the smaller roles, was Felissa and Dee Wallace and things like that, where again, we didn't write those roles just to put them in. Those were real characters. Those were real people that were in the script that someone has to play them. So it's like, why not have Dee Wallace play this role? She's perfect for it. She's an older woman. This is an older woman. So I think not getting caught in that trap, and then also balancing their screen time. If you're going to put someone in the film, of course, there's going to be bigger roles and smaller roles. But I think a lot of times those movies that do it, and again, where it's a gimmick, they'll advertise a certain someone and they have one line, if that, and they're gone. I'm very proud to say in our film, even though bigger and smaller roles, everybody was in the movie, like legitimately. And then obviously there's this, it's not a spoiler anymore, Tim Curry's in the film. We didn't even market him at all. If this was a gimmick, or they call it a certain something casting. I can't remember off the top of my head, but if this was that, we would have been front and center, Tim Curry, and hammering it. But we didn't want that. Tim's in the movie because he's somebody that I grew up loving and really wanted to work with. And I almost worked him a few times, and then he had the stroke, and then, this finally worked out. And again, there were some really cool things I wanted to do with him with this scene. I thought he'd be perfect for this Lockwood, and it was fun to do it and to have him in it. But again, like, we didn't advertise it, we didn't talk about it at all. We thought it would be really cool if like that was like an extra bonus and a treat for horror fans to be like, oh shit, Tim Curry's in this. It ended up leaking, like, because there was an early screening right before we went theatrically. So we came out on the 21st, and the 20th there was a screening, and then a few people saw it, and then that's where it kind of leaked and ended up with Variety. And then when they questioned me about it, I said, well, I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to, because this is also, the movie's coming out tomorrow. So I said, yeah, he's in the movie, but we weren't trying to, let anybody know. We wanted to be surprised. So I think that's where people get caught up with this stunt casting. That's the word. Where I think they focus too much on that, where we really wanted to focus still on our killers, on our characters, on our family. And that's how I was able to balance it out and to balance the screen time, and not just try to jam pack them just to jam pack them. They have the roles in the film because they fit the roles and the characters that were written.
Yeah, I love that. It worked out very well. I give you props for that. Cause yeah, that Expendables of horror movie, I still have PTSD from. And it's the one I always and anytime it's like a stacked cast in a kind of independent
your mind
horror
goes right there. I know.
Yep.
Your mind
absolutely.
goes right there. And that's something I wanted to make sure, we didn't keep focusing on that point, because it kind of has a negative connotation now because of that film and a few others. And like I said, you watch the movie, like Jeffrey Combs is in the film. Danielle Harris is in the film. You know what I mean? And Denny Roebuck is in the film. You know what I mean? Even Dee Wallace has a few scenes, like in the smaller roles, like even Felissa, like at least when she shows up, she's got a really fun scene. You know what I mean? And it's meaningful to the story and what's going on. So like that was another thing as well, is just making sure everybody that came, they come for a reason. They're not just thrown in, and then there's an impact, And like I said, it's interesting because like they're just actors too. And, you take an actor and you fit them, you put them in a role that they fit. It just so happens they act in a lot of horror movies. So it's like, it's like, oh, well, they put all these horror names. Well, we put names of people that fit too. And it's like, it just so happened they are in a lot of horror movies.
You have like a couple that are like, for me, they're big names, like Damien, is it Maffei? How you say his last name?
Maffei, yeah.
Maffei. So I'm a huge fan of his, from Strangers Pray at Night to his new one called Black Eyed Susan, which I fucking loved. So when I saw him,
I heard that's awesome. And that's the thing too, is like we're trying to build something with him. So like that's, he's a really good friend of mine. I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he's too much behind the mask a lot of times. So, like there's a lot of setup that we're doing too, like where you see him, it's like, oh, he's not just thrown in there because to say Damien Maffei. Like I don't even think we market him much because there's no reason to. He's in the movie, he's a good actor, and we're going somewhere. We want to go somewhere with him as the story progresses. And, that's kind of how you got to handle it, I think, when you're doing something like this with this big cast. Even Tim Reed's role too. He has never done a horror film since It. And he doesn't do
Mhm.
them. He doesn't like them, but when he read the script, and this was the same with Combs, they said, oh, yeah, it's a slasher, but there's more of a story here. And I think you could see that too with the beginning of the film. It's a little bit of a slower burn than a normal slasher. You're getting to know this family, probably more of like a drama than really a horror at first. It's like a mystery. And then once it goes, and that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to be more than just mundane killing, even though we have the kills. I wanted there to be substance.
Yeah, that's what I said in my review was it has the gore of Terrifier, but this is actually a legit story, and I thought the family was very relatable.
Thank you. Yeah, and that was important, and I remember when Danielle read it, she wanted to do the movie because she said, I'm a new mom. I've never played a mom. She goes, I say these things to my kids. And, same with the guy, Charles Evan Powell, plays Roy, the father. He's a great, great actor. He kind of took a break for a long time and finally came back. He was in The Exorcist 3.
Mhm.
He was in a lot of really screamers. He was in a lot of really, really good films and then, took time off to become a dad. And then when he came back to acting, we kind of just all fell into each other. And he was like, yeah, this is like it was written out of my house. And that was key. And that's why Jeffrey came on board. That's why Danielle came on board because they really related to the script. You know what I mean? And that was really cool to hear.
Do you have kids?
I do. I have a 2.5-year-old son, and I have a daughter on the way. Actually,
Oh, awesome, man. Congrats. But I was
thank
gonna
you.
say, like, because the dialogue for a family, it's not like you hear in normal movies. Like, it felt like legitimately real dialogue that families like bit with their bickering and shit. So that's
Yeah,
something I loved.
yeah. It was very, very real, and I'm one of six. Also, I'm one of six
Mhm.
kids. I'm the oldest of six, and so a lot of these things that I had heard around my house, we threw in there, and to make it real and make it relatable, and um, I like I said, it's really great to see how the horror community is embracing it.
Mhm.
And what's cool is like, we also set out to make not another Terrifier movie. We're very proud of Terrifier. We love Terrifier, obviously, but we also want to show we can do other things. And, we're not, stupid in any way. We understand that there's a certain audience that loves horror that doesn't like Terrifier because of its
Mhm.
gore and everything. So we wanted to make something. It was a great, one of the reviews said, if you're not into the super gore of Terrifier, but you can handle it to an extent, Stream is a good movie to dip your feet into the pool, get into the low end, and then test the waters if you're into it. Because, even though we do have some pretty gory stuff, obviously it doesn't go to the extent of Terrifier. It's a little bit more, I guess, mainstream horror in that sense.
Mhm.
Even though Terrifier now is becoming mainstream, which is sick.
Yeah,
I love
it really is,
that.
man.
But that was kind of like our thought process behind the whole thing, and to kind of expand our fan base, beyond Terrifier, and that's why we were very conscious to Terrifier is its own thing, and we're trying to start something up with Stream and showcase that we can do other stuff.
I'm curious where the idea came for Stream. Like what was the inspiration or how did that story come about?
So one was myself and my partners, Fuzz on the Lens, we always wanted to do a movie that was isolated in one location because that's a really difficult thing I think to do and make it interesting where you really can't go anywhere else. So that was the start of it, and obviously we all love our Final Girls, but I wanted to do something a little different from that and do something with a dad, do something almost like a 80s action movie in a way.
Mhm.
Those always focused on like the Arnold Schwarzeneggers and the Sylvester Stallones. But again, I didn't want them to be that superhero like no male is like that. I wanted an average dude, like an average dad, a guy that just wants to fight for his family. And he's not the guy that you would expect to really be sort of a hero. So that's really where the start of it really was. Um, and then we were in the age where Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was starting to come up. So it was like that dark web. And then obviously, and honestly, the root of it was, what does horror do best? They exploit your safe spaces. And Psycho did it with the shower. Nightmare on Elm Street does it with your dreams. And you got Halloween with the neighborhood, Camp Crystal Lake, Jason Voorhees, summer camp. So we were like, what is something or some things that everyone can relate to? We all do, we all use, and we still question a little bit, but it could be exploited. And the two things that kept coming was hotel. Everybody goes to a hotel, and everyone can relate to that, and it's a safe, you feel safe, you lock your doors, you think you're good, but you can have all this who's watching me thing. And then also this technology,
Mhm.
and everybody uses a phone, everybody uses the internet, everyone questions it too, but yet we all right now we're on the Zoom, right? You know, all these people are watching us and or they're going to be watching us, whatever, in this interview. But then you don't know who is watching on the other side. You don't know who's watching right now when you think this is all close circuit. So like there was a lot of that is my Alexa listening to me that we wanted to lay the groundwork for. And again, there's so much that we want to do with stream. There's so many places we can go with it. We just wanted to lay a very basic foundation first, see if there's a fan base for it, see if people dig it, and then kind of grow from there. And I hope we can get the sequels. It's not up to us. It's up to you guys. It's up to the fans. It's up to people to say they want it and spread it and talk about it, and then we'll be able to do another one. But if we do, we got some crazy things, just like we jumped from Terrifier 1 to 2 to now 3, and you see, we have some really awesome things that we want to do a stream that I hope we get to bring to fruition.
I think the landscape you laid was phenomenal, and like the movie exceeded my expectations. Like Ian said, like the Expendables of horror, that's what I had in my head going into it, but it blew me away. I have the same love for it as I have for Terrifier, but like I said, the story is so strong.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we worked hard on that. And you know, and there's so many places, like I said, that we want to go. And the thing that I'm most excited about is a movie like this. Concept is very king with it. And there's so many options of like keeping this thing fresh without getting stale because there's so many different locations you can go. There's so many new characters that you can bring into it. And, you know, even though maybe we don't have an Art the Clown per se, or we don't have a Michael Myers, we have that mask, we have that players, we have that look that you can just, like Scream, you could put it on any person and you still have that look to know this is from Stream, you know, like Ghostface, but there's someone else under it. And who is that? And, you know, so that's what I'm excited about also. And there's so many things that we want to dive into. And so far it's doing good. Let's hope it continues.
Have you started writing the script for Stream 2 yet?
Yeah, so we have the script isn't written yet, but the idea is there. We have all the beat points, we have everything there. We actually have beat points and where we want to go with part 3 as well.
Okay.
So we have 2 more films mapped out. We started to write 2. But also I slowed down a little bit because I really wanted to hear the audience's feedback, see what everybody really digs, what people might want to see more of or less of, kind of change, because just like Damien does, we really do listen to our fan base, and we do listen to every critique, review that we can, both positive and negative. And then we ingest it and we say, okay, do we want to listen or do we want to say, you know, that's not really what we want to do? But we do read them all and we do listen to them all. So I took a little bit of a step back to kind of evaluate, you know, what the consensus is, what people are digging about it. But I'm so eager to jump in and go. There's so many ideas flowing that I'm really excited to start getting it down because, like I said, we have the beat points. We know where we want to go. We have the overall story. I even have certain cast members that are already attached, so to speak, that want to be a part of it now. And it should be written pretty quickly. The first stream we wrote very fast, and then we obviously tweaked throughout the years. But I'm hoping we can get this one, if it happens, done much quicker within the next year and a half or so. To be done and out. We'll see.
You already know if you need someone to kill off.
I love it.
I think I said that to you in Texas as well.
Yeah. You know, it's funny too, it's just what we also want to include a lot more. I'll tell you this too in stream, because it just makes sense like this, like real influencers, real people that like are known, you know, in that world, because it could lend itself so much to the film. You know, and that's something we tried to do in the first one, but it was also, we were balancing this act of, okay, there's so much we want to do. We have to be grounded. And at the same token, as you notice, like stream is like, it reveals as it goes. Like at first you don't know the cameras, you don't know. And then they're like, oh wait. Whereas now with part 2, I'm happy we can kind of jump right in and do some of the creative things like, oh, now we can show all the cameras around watching and, you know, those creative shots we did later on in the film, because now everyone knows what the movie is. You know, but it really was a mystery in the beginning when we first wrote started the first act of the first.
Talking about listening to fans, that's one thing I love about you and Damien, because I see you very social on the stream Facebook pages. Damien, not as much anymore, but he was always, well, David is too. Damien and David are so social on the Facebook pages. Yeah. And you guys interact. Like, I remember, because my wife watched the screener with me, and she even wrote like a little review on the page. She said something about how it's like Terrifier, but with like more technology and computers. And you even replied, you're like, I actually never thought of it that way.
Yeah, it's true. We love our fans. First of all, we wouldn't be here without the people that
Mm.
support us. And I hate using that word fan. Just people who like, or supporting. I like that better. And we wouldn't be there without those people who dig what we're doing. We can make movies for ourselves, but then where does that go? And we're also fans ourselves. We're fans of horror. We're fans of cinema. We're fans of, so, for us, we're just lucky to be doing this. And, it's just something we wanted to do, but we're just, you know what I mean? We're lovers of everything, horror movies, whatever, comedies, whatever you want to call it, cinema. And so for us, we're like, we are you guys. We're like interacting. We're there. You know what I mean? I'm happy to. I'm so honored that people even care to see what the hell we're doing and watch it and sit down and buy it for $20 or rent it or whatever on whatever platform you have. So it's cool.
I think that's why so many people connect with you in the Terrifier franchise because you guys are fans. Like you guys make fans for or movies for fans. You're not just out here looking for paychecks. Like this stuff's getting funded by fans because they want to see this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and
So I'm here for all of it.
that's why I got into this. I loved it, and I just wanted to do it because I was such a fan of it, and now we're just lucky enough to be doing it. And you're right,
Mhm.
and we love interacting with our fans. We love going to the conventions. I love talking on the social media, and Damien does too. It's just he's so inundated now. With
Yeah.
I mean, he's like constantly. His phone is and you can't even find everything anymore because it's so much. But I know how much the fan base means to him, and I know
Yeah.
we're all very genuine about it. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't know. I'm not like I said. If I wanted to make a lot of money doing this, I would have probably gotten to a different career. You know what I mean? It's a tough one. It's a very tough career.
The IMDb page and the letterbox, congrats. That shit is blowing up and good reviews as well. I think I just looked like 3 days ago and I realized I didn't make an IMDb review yet. But I think last time I saw it was like sitting at like a 7.9. But I made it. I made it that day.
Yeah, it's funny that thing fluctuates so much too, which I've never seen. I've only seen IMDb's go down. I've never
Mm.
seen them go up and down and left. It's so crazy. Like I seen it like 7.2, then I saw it like a 5.4, then I seen it at 6.4, and it's so crazy how the thing is like going. It's cool though, because that means people are watching it, people are enjoying it and liking it and talking about it, and that's always fun. And the Rotten Tomatoes today, we just got 91% critics fresh, and
Mm.
we got 95% audience, that audience popcorn thing, whatever that is. We just got that too. And I just found out right before this interview, I don't want to misspeak on what it's called, but it is called here it is, most popular best movies to stream at home in 2024, and Stream is on that list on Rotten Tomatoes.
Hell
Let's
yeah.
go.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
cool. That's cool. So I'm trying to work on getting some kind of graphic up to say that. So that was really cool. So people are finding it, and people are talking about it, and hopefully more and more people see it, because I don't know if you guys have ever made films and stuff before, but you live with it for a long time. You write
Mm.
it, and then you shoot it, and then you're editing it, and it's a really exhausting process. And then when it's done, you send it out to the world for people to love it, hate it, and talk about it. And it's a really, really interesting process. But again, you're with it for so long, you just hope that it can reach as many people that it possibly can. So this way,
Mm.
your work, you can touch somebody, or somebody can see it that would mean something to. So
Yeah, for sure. Have I can't remember the it's like a mask it's like a mask store. I can't remember what it is for the life of me right now. But has anyone approached you yet about like making actual masks like for production for stream? Oh,
So they
he's grabbing
have,
something.
I'm grabbing them. Oh, here. We got them.
Oh, that is so dope.
Yes.
Yep, we got them. So they're this one's carbon fiber, like the got the carbon fiber pattern on it.
That's
This is like
so
your
dope.
regular. So you can actually get these now at Scarecrows. You can order them. The company's called Scarecrows right
Oh
there.
shit.
Yep, and and you can order them, and they don't light up though. They're more like the consumer ones. Eventually, we'll do a much that's like a $19 mask or whatever. But eventually, we'll do like a movie quality ones that'll light up. But a lot of fans have been buying the LED lights for like a few bucks off of Amazon and just doing it themselves. They look better than the movie. I'm like, how?
I just bought these. I just bought these from Scarecrows. I
So
didn't see the
yes,
masks on
so
there.
yeah, so he's got stream shirts and he's got stream masks, and we're working on stuff. We got like we partnered up with a company that's doing stream hot sauce, and
Dude,
dude,
yes.
they're the hottest peppers: Ghost, Seven Pot, Scorpion, and Reaper. The hottest peppers. I haven't tried it yet, but my buddy did, and it was not a good sight. And then we just did these stream pins that are all the players. But what's cool about these is if I can find it, let me see.
They light up.
They light up. So like the
Oh, that's
eyes.
so dope.
Let me see if
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I gotta find out where the hell it is. But yeah, they light up. I don't know that thing. The button's back there somewhere. But yeah, we got player whatever that is. Player two, player one, and then we got the other two. The girl, player three, and four. So,
That's
yeah.
so dope. I definitely right oh, there it is. Right when we get off of here, I'm definitely buying a mask to put on my wall for my background.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we did like two versions at one. We did like a limited edition before the movie came out. They were just black masks though. They weren't because we couldn't figure out how to get the carbon fiber to like mass produce for cost, a good cost for consumers. And so we did these black masks. Oh, it's lighting up now. See it?
There we go.
So they all light up in the different colors. But anyway, so we did like this black mask, and we called them the signature masks. We did 250 or 300 of them, and they look great with a white pen signed. So we got, we sold out of those, and then finally we figured these out. Now these are ones, hopefully it'll be in Halloween. They're in a few Halloween stores this year, but Halloween's always a year behind, so, they'll hopefully be more next year, but Scarecrow's is carrying them. He's got them in stock.
Dude, Spirit might be fucking flooded next year then.
They were talking to him. I'll leave it at that.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Yeah. It'll be cool. They're great, and obviously they've done some wonderful things for us with Terrifier, and then even Terror-Threads. I don't know if you guys got Terror-Threads shirts.
Yep.
So stream. They did a streamline for Terror-Threads, and they're gonna do three more designs. They just did three, and they're gonna do three more. So I'm excited about that.
Nice. I almost bought a stream hoodie last week.
Oh, cool. With the
But
players.
we're trying to buy a car right now, so I've been trying to take it easy on my money.
Smart.
But yeah, I almost pulled the trigger.
That's cool. Yeah, get the car first. It's okay.
Yeah. I guess we need a minivan because we got too many damn kids.
Yeah. How many kids you got now?
I got three. I got a 9-year-old,
Wow.
almost 3-year-old, and then a 1-year-old.
Wow, look at you. Wow.
Yeah, I'm done now. I'm done.
Yeah. That's cool. And you're young too. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting up there now.
Yeah.
But so where did you originally have the world premiere for Street at?
Manhattan. We had the world premiere of
It
Stream
was
in
Manhattan?
Yeah. The old Angelica Theater Village East, and it was great. Bill Moseley came out to it. Jeffrey Combs was there. Danielle Harris was there. A lot of the cast obviously was all there, but then also Alex Vincent from Chucky came out to support.
Yep.
And so did Barbara Crampton showed up. And
Oh yeah, Barbara
cool.
was at a Fantastic Fest.
Yeah, yep. And so Barbara came, and then also I don't know if you guys are fans of the Impractical Jokers or if you know of them. So Brian Quinn Q is a good friend of mine, and he was there. And the beer actually in the movie, the Cattoberfest that he's selling to the girl he's hitting on, Danielle Harris, that's his beer. That's Brian Q's beer from Impractical Jokers. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So he came out, and Murr's a friend of mine too. He was gonna come, but he was in like Italy or something at the time, so he couldn't make it. But,
Yeah, Murr's everyone's favorite.
yeah, Murr's great. He's shooting a movie right now, actually. So.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, because he's turning one of his horror books into a movie.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So I'm excited about it.
Well, now you got the hookup too for like which creators that can like help get movies out and shit and do like the early reviews. So you got like the head up on all that.
Yeah, you learn as you go. And it's it's cool. I like networking with people, meeting new people, and building real relationships also. And that's something that I just all I know how to be, all I know how to do. You know what I mean? That's something I'm also proud of in my personality.
Dude, that's like my favorite thing about Fantastic Fest was obviously opening night, but it's like me, Slasher Talk, and Sid. We were just all at the bar, and then you came up and just recognized all of us, and you're like, "Hey, you want to come in the VIP area with the Terrifier crew?" Like, are you fucking serious?
I was waiting for you guys to be like, no, fuck you guys. Who are you?
Yeah, like
No,
that
and that
was
was cool.
the
And we all
coolest
met,
thing.
and Mike Flanagan was there, and that
Yeah.
was cool. I had never met him, but I know he's a big Terrifier fan, and he's friends with Damien, and he's friends with Lauren and David. So that was super cool to see him. He sat right in front of me the whole time. So I'm watching him watch the movie and just seeing his reaction, and that was super cool. And then also, I forgot to mention the guy. I don't know if you know the Purge movies.
Yeah.
The creator of the Purge, and he directed a few of them. He's friends with Q, and he ended up coming to the stream premiere, and he wrote me such a really nice note afterwards. He says, he goes, I love the movie. He said, I think you got a franchise on your hands. He goes, it's not easy to do that. He goes, you have great characters. He goes, I had so much fun with it. And he wrote it. So I said, hey, can I take some of this and use it as like a review? And he's like, yeah, take it, whatever you want. So he was super. He's a really cool guy too. James DeMonico. And he's a nice guy.
That's awesome. I actually just had one of my quotes be used as a review yesterday for my first time, and it made me so happy. Ian's had it a couple times, but I had my first one yesterday, and it made me so happy.
Oh, congratulations. Did you see the hype
It was-
video we did? The one, did
Yeah.
you see this? You would have been in it there, Ian, but yours came in, I think, the day we put it out there.
It's all good.
We'll make a second one.
That video made my wife was cracking up because my part was the this is a horror fan's wet dream.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
was laughing about that part when I sent it to everybody, and I was like, I made it.
I think there's a few. So there's a longer one that's on YouTube that is like 4 minutes, but that has like, I think there's a lot more of your quotes in there too. And there were so many people we wanted to include, but it's like, how do you can only do like a minute and a half on Instagram, and it was like,
Yeah.
so we got the long version and the short version.
Actually, for Instagram, because my reviews are usually a minute and a half, sometimes a little over 2 minutes. If you upload something as a post instead of a reel, you can have it as long as you want.
Yeah, and then you could click on it, right, and then it opens up.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
then will it still make it, 9:16, or will it put
Yeah.
it in
Yeah,
its-
it's
oh,
still
will.
it's still yeah.
See, you know all the ins. You know all the ins and outs of social media. And TikTok is like huge. Like everybody's on. Like that's something I feel like an older guy. Like, oh, they know the TikTok. I don't really use TikTok much. I know a lot of people do, and then when I look at some of the people who've been saying things about stream, they'll post on Instagram. I'll see it, but then I'll go on their TikTok and I'm like, oh my god, this thing's got like almost 1 million views. I'm like, this is insane. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I'm like the opposite. Like my TikTok has a decent following, but my big following is Instagram. So Instagram, sometimes I'll have stuff blow up on TikTok, but usually it's Instagram where it blows up.
And as for me, I'm like real old. My following's on Facebook. It's like it's just, I guess, I don't know. I also I use them all a lot, but I think I interact more on Facebook than all of them, just because it just feels, a little bit more personable to me. But
yeah, that's when I mostly use Facebook. It's just for like my personal stuff, like keeping in touch with like my friends from the military. I don't really talk to anybody from school anymore, but yeah, like family, military friends, shit like that.
Yeah. So, and then they have that group on Facebook, which is awesome. That joined the stream. Somebody made that, and there's like almost 4,000 members of people who are like really passionate about it, and they're all talking about it and having fun with it. So I love talking with those guys, and then the Art the Clown Appreciation as well. So it's cool.
I don't think I'm in a certain Terrifier group, but I'm not in the Art the Clown Appreciation one. That's one I got to join.
You should.
Because this one,
they're great. They're really good, and they're like very engaging.
Dude, the one I'm in is so fucking toxic, and I hate it.
That's funny. We won't name it.
Hate it. I can't even remember the name, but it pops up on my phone all the fucking time. But also, I wanted to ask you, because you're part of the Terrifier team. Are you familiar with the movie Circus of the Dead?
Yes. Billy Pond is the guy.
Yeah, Billy Pond.
Yeah. I know. So, I haven't seen it, but I know he's making a sequel.
And yes, David Howard Thornton's going to be in it.
So that's how I know. Yeah.
But also Carrie from Terrifier 2, the lady who gets shot first at the Clown Cafe, she's also going to be in Circus of the Dead 2. Yeah, Carrie Maguire. That's who I talk to a lot on Facebook too. But so apparently there's like this beef between Circus of the Dead and Terrifier that we had no idea about, because I didn't know. Yeah, because I love both movies. But I was interviewing Lauren last week, and I have a Circus of the Dead poster right there.
Is it
And
like a real
somebody,
beef or is it like a jokey beef though?
No.
no, like people like actually got mad. This one guy commented on my
Oh,
interview with
it's
Lauren.
like the fans, the fans.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought you were
Yeah.
like you're saying like the filmmakers and stuff. I'm like,
no,
really?
no,
Okay,
no.
okay, okay.
Billy's cool.
Yeah, Billy's great.
But some
Billy
guy.
got us. Billy got us the stream trailer to play at Texas Frightmare.
Oh no shit.
He ended up, yeah, when the teaser trailer a couple months back, he ended up getting it to play, and that was like so cool. But anyway, I want to hear about this because I didn't know this.
So I interviewed Lauren on through Zoom last week, and I have my Circus of the Dead poster back there, and somebody comments, he's like, having a Circus of the Dead poster while you're interviewing Lauren is a slap to the face for fucking Terrifier, or is a big fuck you to Terrifier or something. I was like, is it illegal to like both movies?
Yeah, that's weird. That's bizarre. I didn't know that. I'm supportive. I mean, I'm hoping he makes a good, a cool movie that people like. You got to support fellow artists and indie filmmakers.
Mm.
And I've heard great things about Circus of the Dead. I haven't seen it, which I should actually get on it and check it out since I've been hearing so much about it. And I know Dave's now going to be a part of it. And Billy's been great to
Mm.
us, obviously, in supporting. So, yeah, it's funny how the fans get sometimes. It's awesome.
Yes, Circus
They
of
get
the
so
Dead rips.
protective.
It's way different than Terrifier, but it goes more to like the extreme kind of shit. Like Terrifier, it gets extreme with like its practical effects, but it touches extreme fucking subject matters in Circus of the Dead.
Oh, really? See, that's good
Yeah.
though. Like as a horror fan, right? We want to have more horror. We want to see
Mm.
more stuff. We want to like enjoy different things. And I think that's what's so cool about bringing light to indie filmmakers in particular. Like this is something that we talk about all the time. It's something we're all super proud of. Like, yeah, it's great what happened with Terrifier 2 and now obviously 3 and the accolades and whatever. But I think the thing that we're most proud of, and we've, like I said, we've spoken about this, is the fact of a lot of independent filmmakers have had light shed on them now because of what happened with Terrifier 2 in the theaters.
Mm.
And like now, studios or fans or the theaters are taking it more seriously to look into these films. You wouldn't have had a movie like In a Violent Nature. Whether you like it or don't like it, you wouldn't have had it. And you wouldn't have had it blow up like the way it's blown up. Maybe it would have made it, but no one would have known about it. Same with maybe the Circus of the Dead stuff. Same with even the Screamboat Willie and the Mean One and like the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey and whether you like the movies or not, that doesn't matter. At least these filmmakers are getting attention to their work, and then the fans can at least access it and they could decide.
Yeah.
Stream wouldn't have had a theatrical release. No way, no way. 10 years ago, look at Terrifier 1 didn't get a theatrical release. They didn't even want to look at it.
No.
It was like we were cast away, and luckily we got it on Netflix, and it found its following, and people really liked it. So like with Terrifier 2, we're so proud that we shed some light on indie filmmakers, and it kind of opened the door for so many possibilities because we get to get those movies that the studios are too afraid to make.
Yes. And that's like my page. I push. That's the biggest thing I try to push is indie horror. The biggest. And if it's a movie I don't like and it's indie, I refuse to review it. I will not say anything bad about it.
See that?
I've
That's
given
cool.
negative reviews for like bigger name movies, like Universal shit like that. But
Because
I will
it
never.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to
Yeah,
them. But you can
they have
kill.
unlimited money.
I told a few of these guys. I said, a reviewer, a critic can kill an indie film. You really you
Yeah.
can. And if you look, and if you don't like it, that's really cool that you do that. It's like, all right, for indie films, but like, yeah, for the big studio ones, sure. You know what I mean? They don't need it. They have all the money in the world. They could just throw money at it. Doesn't matter. But like I said, it's really cool that like what's going on. And again, not even the movie. You could make an indie movie that you don't like, I don't like, whatever. But if people see it, it could start someone's career, and they could get better, and they could make more stuff, and you could discover new things and new talented people. So that's something that we really are happy about.
Yeah.
Yeah, along those
Um,
lines, speaking of indies, is there a certain like indie or kind of hidden gem horror movie that you're a fan of that you feel like doesn't get enough attention?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Well, first of all, I don't know if it's considered indie or not. You're gonna know it because you just mentioned it. But I thought Haunt, when it first came out, number one, was a movie that did not get enough attention. And I'll be honest with you, it took me 3 tries to start it because I
Mm.
did not like its opening scene with that club or whatever. I don't know why. I couldn't get into it. And then finally, I said, I'm watching this movie because I just kept coming back, it kept popping up. And I watched it and I was like, this is fantastic. This is so good. I loved it. And it made me become a fan of Damien's. And
Mm.
again, that was around the time, I guess, Terrifier, also the first one, was happening. And like everybody was talking about Terrifier. And I kept, talking about Haunt. I was like, this movie is so cool. Also, again, I don't know how indie this really is, but it is kind of indie, and since we have somebody in our film as well from it, Jeffrey Combs, I think Would You Rather is another movie that not too many people know about. To be honest, like there's so many horror fans that don't know about it, but it is such a really, really strong movie. And like that's one of those movies where audibly I remember going, "Oh my God, is this really about to happen right now?"
Yeah.
And you start getting anxiety. I
Mhm.
think it was really well done. So like those are two ones that kind of come to mind quickly. I want to see that movie. Is it called Substance? Is that the one that everyone's
The
talking about?
Substance with Demi Moore.
Substance? Yeah. I know
Mm.
that's not really, I guess Demi Moore's in it. It's not indie at all, right? I don't know who makes it, but I've heard a lot of good things about that movie
Yeah.
and some crazy things. So I really want to check that out for sure.
I haven't seen that one. That's one that I'm pissed I haven't caught yet. But it's being compared to like gore wise as Evil Dead 2013. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
I'm
Wow.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
I think it
definitely want
comes
to
to
see that.
streaming the 28th.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just saw. I'm like, it's crazy. Like with my schedule now, I've barely gotten to go to any movies. I just saw
Mm.
Beetlejuice like last night, finally.
Oh,
And I'm a huge fan of the first one, and I'm so excited to see it. I wanted to see it in the theaters. I wanted to see it like opening weekend. I just never got there, so I finally got to see that. So it's like really tough. Life gets in the way to get to the movies to see these things, but see them eventually.
so with Ice Nine Kills, like we're both huge fans of Ice Nine. They just did Terrifier. Falcone was in the music video. Spencer Charnas was in the music video. Do you think there's a stream Ice Nine Kills song in the future?
We'll see. Spencer's a great friend of mine.
Mm.
And I know he's really excited about Stream, and it's something I would love to do for sure. And I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. And we'll see what happens. As things progress. Again, right now we got to make sure that the masses see Stream. We have to make
Mm.
sure there's more more eyes on it, notoriety about it, whatever, the word of mouth spreads, and it is spreading. People are really digging it. People are seeing it. People are talking about it. We just got to make sure that we continue to do that because that's how we'll be able to do really cool shit like that and,
Right.
and expand and do it. But it's definitely in the cards for sure. I'd love to. I'd be honored to. So we'll see.
If and when we get Stream 2, can we get Spencer in a role? 'Cause every time he pops up in a movie, it's for like 30 seconds. It's never enough.
It's already been discussed.
Awesome.
It has been
Yes.
discussed. We'll see if it happens, but it has been discussed. That I can tell you. Yeah,
That would
he's
be
he's great.
amazing.
Yeah, he's great. He's awesome. He's the man.
Hey, Ian, do you want to kick off our favorite question for every guest?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This will be a good one. So yeah, every guest that we have for every episode, we have a question for you. And it's if you had an unlimited budget, is there a particular horror movie that you would like to remake? Or is there a particular sequel to any horror franchise that if you could make, what would it be?
It's a tough one. It's like our level, right? Yeah. I mean, three that come to mind,
Ooh.
and I don't know which one would be what, but I'm going to give you the most obscure one first. I would love to make a sequel to the Leprechaun movie. I would,
Yes.
I would love to do something with that. Warwick Davis, bring him back. Make it fun, make it crazy. Gory. Have a really good time with that. That's my like obscure one for sure that I'm sure not many people say. And then my other two, I would love to do a Halloween sequel. A big fan of Halloween, and I'd love to do a Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh.
So many, there hasn't been one obviously in such a long time. I think there's so many great things that you can do with it. I actually have an idea to. Robert Englund keeps talking about how he's done, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. And I actually have an idea to still include him, but pass the torch, and it still makes sense in canon and everything. And
yeah.
and that's something I'd love to do. I played a young version of Robert in a movie like years ago called Fear Clinic. Robert Hall, and I played like some blackness, darkness, whatever the demon was, some parts in that. So I got to know Robert a little bit, and I think he's incredible. I think he's great, but I would love to see him in another Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I said briefly, I know he says he doesn't want to do Freddy, but there's a way to make it work, and that's something I'd love to do.
Who would you like to use as Freddy?
That I don't know. I'd have to check it out. I'd cast myself. No. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to see. I know a lot of people have talked about some people over the internet. I've seen what's his face, what's his name, Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon
has come up. I think he's too old though. You know what I mean? If you want somebody to be Freddy and for the next generation, I think it has to be somebody younger that can do it for years to come, like Robert did.
What about David?
A lot of people talk about David.
Because David, he is mostly in non-speaking roles, but if people have seen like his shorts on YouTube doing the Joker and stuff, that dude can fucking act. And like he comes from a stage background. So his facial expression acting, his body expression, like I think he would fucking kill it. And he's a funny dude too.
He is. David's good. I don't know if I'd cast him for one reason though. And nothing to do with anything against any of his acting abilities, anything. It's very tough to have somebody play two horror icons like that.
Yeah, it's true.
And then not have the audience compare to what he does with Art and what he does with Freddy. So that would be a tough one just because of that. Not to say he won't do a good job. I just know as a filmmaker, that's kind of where my mind would go. But then again, you never know. He could knock it out of the park and be great. You know what I mean? And people not even care. But that's always what would come to my mind first.
Ian, who's your wish list Freddy?
Oh man, it's been Kevin Bacon for a while, but I agree with Michael though that at this point he with age it would be a one and done most likely.
Yeah,
right. And I'm sure it'd be a great movie, but the thing is, it's a one and done. So it's just like, well, that's what we just got with Jackie Earl Haley all those years ago. It's like let me set it up with somebody new that like can grow and really embody and play Freddy for like 5 or 6 films.
So I would go with Caleb Landry Jones.
Okay.
He's the brother in Get Out. Like he's in a bunch of shit now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think appearance wise, and I mean the dude can act. I think he would be a cool pick for Freddy.
So
that would be insane.
This is what they had me look like when I played the younger him.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then they did a side profile, which was pretty funny.
Oh
that's
shit.
Great.
I don't know if it's gonna.
Yeah. I can...
So we had, he's a cool dude. It's like really blown out, huh? Anyway, that's a good pick.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So we always do this one segment. It's called our favorite comments of the week. It's usually me. I don't really have any this week. I get a lot of hate on my movies. Like I've had people tell me to go kill myself because they don't like a movie I've recommended. It gets funny. I love it. I love it. Like when you get hate, you know you're doing something right. But I
got one that happened to me.
Perfect. Let's kick it out with Michael.
I think it was Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was Rotten Tomatoes. It could have been Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. Somebody told me to go fuck myself. They literally wrote to the filmmakers, "You can go fuck yourself." So that was like 2 days ago. So that's definitely the comment of the week for me.
Hell yeah!
That would be a great quote for the poster.
Yes, it would. Or for a shirt. For the shirt, that would be perfect.
Yeah, that's funny. I was the first guest that what? Cursed?
No, you're the first guest that's actually had a comment that they actually shared that was someone talking shit.
Well, it's funny. Like I said, I'm always real. I like to be real. It's funny because like you read all these things that are good. It's like good, great, good, and then, but they're all just they kind of just sink in, and then you read that one, and you're like, oh, okay. And that was all the comment was. There was nothing else to it. It just says to the filmmakers, go fuck yourself. And I think I know what it has to do with. It might have to do with the ending of certain something that happens.
Mhm.
So I actually don't even consider it to be negative. I just find it very funny. So yeah.
And then Ian, you got a good one. This was actually on your Terrifier 3 review.
Yeah, I figured it would be fitting. So yeah, when I posted my review, like Colby said, normally I don't get the hate comments or the anything fun in a negative way. Like it's usually the positive stuff, and Colby gets all the hate. But I thought it was funny that this one particular person commented like 7 different times. Like he could have just made one comment with all the information, but he had to comment like 7 different times. And he said that it wasn't original like the other movies. And I just said I disagree. It's just as original as the other films in the franchise. And that's when he kind of went down the comments with just random movies. So he said,
Ah,
"Ever seen Psycho?" And I said, "The shower scene in Terrifier has nothing in common with the Psycho one, other than it taking place in a shower.
right,
Like
right.
that doesn't even make sense." So I'm not going to read all of them, but the other one that was really funny to me is he said um that they copied 6 horror movies to make this one. And I said, strong disagree. I said, an homage or nod to certain things, sure. But there's nothing that I consider copied. And his response was, LOL, masturbation scene. Only difference is a glass shard instead of a Jesus cross. And I said, the similarities couldn't be further apart. You might as well include Night of the Living Dead in this because Art's head bites someone in the movie.
Right, right.
Like
It's like
it was wild.
it's funny. You know what it is? There's so many. Look, you can compare anything to anything if you're doing it like that.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And there's so many things that are out there. It's like, there's only so much of the wheel you could reinvent as well. But you got to look at something as a whole. And when you look at Terrifier, he just compared it to The Exorcist with that scene. Fine, let's say that. But then you look at Terrifier and you look at The Exorcist and you say these two movies are totally different.
Right.
They're not the same at all. So you're taking one element that you think might be it, right? And then you say, well, what about Psycho? Okay, well, Psycho and Terrifier are certainly not the same at all. So it's like when you copy something, it's like you're copying every piece. You're
Oh,
doing like
absolutely.
exactly what, and some of these, and look, it's great. They get passionate about it. They care, I guess. He should just be happy there's another horror movie out there that he can watch, I don't know. But it's fun. We take everything and we look at everything and we get a kick out of it as well. So it's funny.
100%.
So before we get off, Damien has already said that he has 2 scenes in particular that are going to top all 3 movies. You don't have to tell us like what they are or anything. I'm not asking that, but do you know what he's talking about? Like, do you know his ideas?
Yeah, I know not all of them, but I know a lot of what he wants to do. I know where he wants it to go.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to think of which ones he's talking about, at least the ones he's discussed with me. But yeah, what's funny is I always, he mentions certain things a lot of the times in the process, and I always try to wait until I get the full script because then I'm like, oh my god, how the hell are we going to do this? But I do know where it's going for sure, and I know how he wants to, do the next one. But there's always some fun surprises in there for sure that you're like, oh, okay. Like with
I'm excited.
with the second one, the I remember reading it and it was so big to anything we've ever done. I was like, I don't know how we're doing any of this. And the funny part was that we ended up making like pretty much the same movie that I read, which was incredible. Like we did it. Um, but I remember like sticking out. One of the scenes that stuck out to me was the head with the candy in it. I remember when I first read that stuck out to me so much in the script. I was like, that is freaking awesome. The second one, the third one, the scene that stuck out to me, the two, was the opening with the kids and all that. I read that now
Hmm.
having kids, I was like, oh my god, and I questioned if I wanted to do the movie, and then
Oh
I said,
shit.
of course you do. But there was a brief moment of like, oh my god, and then the tube with the rats. I was
Whoa.
like, that is so mean spirited. That is so crazy. I was like, that is insane. That is like insane. I call myself Damien. Like, where did you come up with this thing? I was like, that is wild. And then I was like, all right, let's get to work. Let's go do it, you know? And then obviously the other thing that I was curious about was the bomb. I was like, how the hell are we going to pull that off? And I couldn't wrap my head about how we're going to do that. I really couldn't. And then we ended up really doing it. We ended up like really blowing a thing up. And I was like, you know, okay, cool. So it's always fun to see where his mind goes with certain things and to read it all together, like, you know, outside of the, hey, you know, this is what I'm thinking, or this is what's going on. It's nice to kind of read it that way, and it's even more special to see when we pull it all together, because like a lot of times I'm like, and then we figure it out. We got a great team of people, and everybody's heads come together and we make it work.
Yeah, that's one thing too. Before we get off, I want to say, hanging out with everybody in the VIP area, dude, that team is the most genuine people I've in the industry. They're just like normal people. Like you're asking them to take pictures and like, yeah, like Lauren Lavera was even like, you want to look at the picture before you like it or anything?
Yeah.
Like, she's such a sweetheart. David's so nice. Everybody's just so genuine.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we have a great group, and like I said, we really became very close. We really are like family. You know, I've gone to Damien's house for barbecues and stuff, and we've all gone out. We're all, you know, very, very close. We have a group chat that we're all in. We just, you know, all day, just different memes and things. So it's special, you know, and when you get a bunch of people together and it's that special things happen, and I'm just honored to be a part.
For sure. So do you have a date for the physical media for stream yet?
Not yet. It'll probably be towards the end of the year, around the holidays, or early next year, around that time. We are going to be announcing a date. We're going to be doing VHSs. That's for sure.
Okay.
Which is going to be cool. That'll be before the DVDs and the Blu-rays. And that'll be sooner. And yeah, so we got a lot of cool things coming down the pike. And for anybody else, you know, that if you haven't seen it yet, please take a look and watch it. Tell your friends, especially if you like it. This is the only way, you know, we're able to continue to do this thing, is if you support indie horror and you get more things like Terrifier, like Stream. We work very hard on it, and you know, you don't have to love it, or you don't have to whatever, you know, just take it for what it is, and we hope you enjoy it. And I think you guys do. You know, you think it's a good movie. I think it's a good movie. It's a lot of fun. We jam pack it. If you're a horror fan, if you're a slasher fan, we jam pack it with some really, really cool stuff. And if you have seen it, please rate it on IMDb, rate it on Rotten Tomatoes and Letterboxd, and just let everybody know about it. You know, spread the word, because that's how we get it out there.
This is the franchise we need.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, Mike, thank you so much for coming on, talking to us, man. We talk all the time on Instagram, so you're a very reachable person. You love talking to the fans. So again, thank you for everything.
Thank you guys so much, to both of you, for your reviews, for checking out the film, for taking the time to check it out, and obviously for this interview. It means the world. And if you know anybody who's Rotten Tomato approved, let me know, because I'm looking for more people to check it out. So
yeah, for sure. But again, thank you guys for listening. As always, I'm your host, Colby.
I'm Ian Van Gogh.
I'm Michael Leavy.
See you next time. We'll see you next time.
Don't let the ghosts and the ghouls disturb you.
There you go. That's it.